Do the bill of materials. I did part 1 to this where I did the floor system already. Now we're going to do part 2, which is the front wall. Just like we did, I'm looking for formulas. So if I click on this box right here, the box right here says 47 cents per foot, but right here it's equals G3 times H3. And I went over that in video part 1. We're going to do this again for the second video. We're going to come down here. Now the first thing that we're going to do, I always start out with my sole plate and top plate. So here's my sole plate. Here's my top plate. Those are always going to be the same length. Your floor system is 4x4, so these are going to match that for your front wall. So it's going to be 48 inches. All right, so we are. Sorry, I'm going to go into full screen mode for a minute. Here we're going to put sole and top plate. Material. This is just going to be regular 2x4s because this is going to be covered. It's not going to be pressure treated. There are 2 of these, and they are 48 inches in length. Just like we did in the last one. Right here, I want to do 2 times 48. You may already know what that is in your head, but I want the computer to do it for us because it's not always going to be that easy. So right here, we're going to hit equals. We're going to hit C7, which is 2, times D7, which is 48. So we're going to do that. That star symbol means times, so that is Shift 8 on your keyboard. And then we're going to hit so. Now it tells you right here in blue what it's gonna calculate as. We're going to hit enter, and it should give us 96. Now if we wanted to do that for the rest of these, we'll just go ahead and drag that down to there. Now right now it's got 0 because there's nothing in these cells to calculate. Once we put information in these cells, it will calculate this. Length in feet. We want to take this and turn that 96 inches into feet. We're going to hit equals. We're going to do this cell. Divided by is slash. And then we're going to hit 12 because they're 12 inches in a foot. And then we're going to hit enter. That's going to give us 8 feet. So now I always like to make sure. Sometimes this thing will do something tricky with you and it'll throw some odd number out here. Maybe you type something in wrong, whatever. I like to make sure that I know that the feet here matches whatever's here. Don't just take the computer's word for whatever's there. Now we're going to drag that down. Yet again, these are 0 because there's nothing over here. Once we put information over there, that'll change. Now I got to get out of full screen mode. We got to go to Lowe's and get us a board price. $378 was for pressure treated lumber. Let's go see what non-pressure treated lumber is going to be for us. So we want a 2x4x8. You can see I've searched this several times right here. 2x4x8. Let's see what it brings up. All right. These are, they don't have, I mean, this is kind of odd at this particular moment at Lowe's, but the non-pressure treated stuff is actually higher than the pressure treated stuff, which is typically not the case. But this is all they have. They don't have any other whitewood. So this is a premium number 2 Euro spruce. We're going to roll with that. That's going to be $477. So we're going to go back over here. We're going to type in 4.77. It automatically turns it into a dollar sign because I have this sheet set up to where if you right click, view more cell actions, and then I have it set up to where it turns everything in this particular column into dollar signs or currency. So we're going to grab this blue dot. We're going to drag this down. That's going to copy all that lengthened board for us. We're going to do 8 again. You can choose if you happen to be doing something and 12 footers work better, do 12 footers, but that's obviously going to change your price. Price per foot. We need this divided by this. So we're going to do, let's go hit undo. I am going to do full screen again. Maybe I'm not. Sorry. All right, let's try that again. So now we've got equals. We want this cell divided by this cell. And if you'll see, I just hit equals and I clicked on the cell. I put a slash in, which is beside of the right hand shift button. All right, and then I clicked on this cell. Now I'm going to hit enter. It's going to tell me that it's 60 cents a foot. So 1 foot of this board costs 60 cents. We're going to drag that down. It'll copy. Total cost per unit. Each foot costs 60 cents. If each foot costs 60 cents, I need 8 feet. So I want to do this times this. So we're going to hit equals I7 times F7 and hit enter. That tells me that for this it's going to cost $477. We're going to drag that down as well. Now, the great thing about this is from here on out, all I have to do is fill in these right here, these right here, these right here, and these right here. I don't have to fill in the rest of this. It will automatically put that stuff in for me. So let's go back to our wall. All right, here's our wall. So now, just to save some time without going, the maximum wall height that I wanted here was 66 inches. If you take 66 inches and you put that right here, and then you take out 1.5 inches for the sole plate, 1.5 inches for the top plate, 1.5 inches for the double top plate, right here for your stud length, you are going to get 61.5. So we're going to put king studs, 2x4. There are 2 king studs at 61.5. Hit enter. Notice how it fills the rest of it in for me. Because of my formulas, as long as my formulas are set up correctly, it'll fill all that in. I don't have to do any more work than that. Let's go back and see what else we got. Now we need these lower cripples. These lower cripples I told you that you could come up with on your own. I personally like 33 inches, so we're going to leave this at right here, these 4 right here, cripple studs. I'm going to call those lower cripples because they're below the rough seal right here. So we're going to call that lower cripples. They're also made out of 2x4. There are 4 of them, and I like 33 inches. That's $656 total for those. We're going to go back. Now we're going to do our rough seal. This right here is our rough seal. It is, the overall wall is 48. We got a minus 1.5 inches here for this stud, because that's how thick that stud is. We're going to minus 1.5 inches for this. So 1.5 plus 1.5 is 3. The overall wall is 48. 48 minus 3 is going to make this board right here 45 inches. So we're going to call this our rough seal. It is a 2x4. There's 1 of them, and it's going to be 45 inches. Yet again, it will fill in all my information for me. Then we're going to do our jack studs here and here. So if you take out the thickness of the double top plate, the thickness of the top plate, the thickness of this header here and here, the thickness of your rough seal, and the thickness of that, all of those, any board on here that is going horizontally, all of those add up to 11. We had 66 minus, a 66 overall stud height minus 11 inches. Well, we use 33, so that means 66 minus 11 would be 55 inches. So we had 55 inches to spread between this board, this board, this board. We put 33 of that in this board. That leaves us 22 inches to spread here and here. So what we're going to do is we're going to call this right here, we're going to call this 12, which would make these right here 10. All right, so we're going to call these right here, this one and this one. These are called jack studs. We're going to call those 12 inches. So type in jack studs, 2x4. There's 2 of them, 12 inches long. And it fills everything in for me. I've only got 2 more things to do. The header right here. This header is 1.5 inches thick and 3.5 inches wide, but we don't need the width and the thickness, we need the length. Well, this board right here was 45 inches, and this board is the same length as your rough seal. They're always going to be that way. So if you take this, there's 3. Now, it only looks like there's a board here and a board here. What you can't see is on the back side, there's a second board, and I'll show you that in class, but there's 3 of these total. So for the header, it is also a 2x4. There are 3 of them, even though you can only see 2 on the page, and they're 45 inches long. Last but not least, is these right here. So we spent 33 inches here, 12 inches here. That makes this 10. So these are upper cripples. There's 4 of them, and we're going to make that 10 inches. So we're going to put upper cripples, 2x4. There are 4 of them. and they are 10 inches. So thus far, we've got 477. You can read all the numbers over here for our total cost. I'm going to insert a row. For you, that is a double click with 2 fingers. You'll see this menu option come up. Hit insert one row above. Now it turns it gray because the one below it was gray. We're going to highlight all this. I'm going to go over here to my paint can, hit reset, and it's going to turn it white. I want to add all of these up. All right. Highlight all of these. I have 3 dots here. Yours may already be expanded, depending on how big your computer is or how much zoom you've got on it. But you're looking for this symbol right here, the epsilon symbol, and you're going to click on functions. You're going to hit sum. And you're going to enter. That's 2956. All right. So that's all you got to do to add these up. Then I could add 1087 and 2956 and be well on my way.